here today. Again, my name is Dave Treader, and since 2004 I've been president of the Federation of Independent Colleges. And that's just about the same amount of time that Senator Maloney, Ed Maloney, had returned to the General Assembly. You may remember he was in the House for a short period of time. My job in Springfield with the private institutions and really with all of higher education is to work with the political leadership and continually educate them about the value of what all of us in this room do. Specifically the private institutions, but really I think all of us are college advocates across the board, public or private here. And really the main job is to educate legislators about the value, and I'll confess that legislators, some of them don't fully appreciate I think the value, and so it's a continuous process, and it's our job to get them good information to make good decisions. Convincing Ed has never been a problem. That's been easy. Almost since his first days in the Senate, he's had a desire to improve the ability of students of need to access higher education. You know, all of us spend a lot of time talking about the Monetary Award Program and what a fine program it is. And Ed had, you know, undeniably has been the biggest champion of that program, really in the last 10 years. And, you know, a lot of times higher education is not the first thing legislators focus on. Nor, frankly, does it have the greatest return on political investment sometimes for a legislator. As I look out across the crowd, I see Representative Bob Pritchard, who's another champion, and Senator DeValier, who's a champion in his time in the Senate. Ed has, you know, steadfastly immersed himself in improving not only the programs, but the system, kind of the route for students to get through college. And as I was driving up from Springfield, I thought about Ed's career in athletics and officiating, and that made him especially well suited for service in the General Assembly. He doesn't hold a grudge. He doesn't take things personally. He takes the rules seriously. He's used to people screaming at him. But in the end, he's made the call. He calls them as he sees them, sometimes regardless of the political consequences. And so, unlike some other recent elected officials in Springfield, the only time you'll see Ed in a striped shirt is on the basketball court. Ed has become such a solid advocate for higher education in the General Assembly. He's frankly made all of our jobs here a lot easier, in Springfield specifically. So it's well understood that we're going to miss Ed personally, but the real reason we're sad that he's retiring is that now we will actually have to start doing our own jobs again. But more seriously, Ed has consistently been there for students in every budget, every legislative session. I can think of nobody who deserves the Champion Award more than Ed. And so to present the award to Ed, I'm pleased to introduce the esteemed Executive Director of the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, Eric Sarnica.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Dave. When I first became the Executive Director of the Illinois Student Assistance Commission back in February, I came to the position with a background both in private industry and the federal government, and I knew that I would have a lot to learn about working with the General Assembly and the world of higher education. As I was briefed by our ISAC staff, and as I met with a number of you in this room, one of the things I heard early and often was that we could always count on Senator Maloney to be a strong supporter of higher education and always be willing to listen and to take the time to really understand issues and be aware of potential unintended consequences. In the short time since I've arrived at ISAC, I've seen that time and time again. To tell you the truth, the team at ISAC is still in denial that the senator is actually going to retire. And we've signed up for some group counseling sessions this fall to try and get over that denial. But we're still holding out a faint hope that he may change his mind and decide not to retire. So we're going to wait and have the therapy until later. For nearly 10 years, the senator has been an advocate for college access, and he's an ally of the students that we all collectively serve. He's been a steady and an effective chair of the Higher Education Committee who genuinely cares about helping students to achieve their goals, and he cares about the impact that higher education has both on our society and on the economy. He's also among an elite group of policymakers who rarely needs a reminder that college access is for non-traditional adult students, as well as for the 18-year-old traditional students coming out of high school. I think we're going to hear from some non-traditional students here in a few minutes. Throughout his career of education and public service, Senator Maloney has committed himself to improving the lives of students personally or through policy changes. He achieved his own bachelor's degree in political science from Lewis University, which Dave has reminded me is an outstanding private college. He also holds a master's degree in education from Chicago State University. He's been a teacher, counselor, and administrator at Oak Lawn Community High School, a manager and professional development director at the Chicago Park District, and an assistant principal and dean of faculty at Brother Rice High School in Chicago. He has brought that real-world experience as an educator and as an administrator to the General Assembly, and we're grateful for that. I understand that one of the Senator's proudest achievements was the establishment of a project that was discussed in a breakout session this morning, the College Career Readiness Pilot Program, which the Senator sponsored in 2007. By bringing together high schools and community colleges to align their expectations and their programs to serve students across preparedness spectrum, this effort embodies just the kind of multi-level, community-wide collaboration that the College Changes Everything movement in this conference is all about. From academic preparedness to curriculum alignment to financial aid, Senator Maloney has tried to look at college completion from all angles. He's even tried to look at it from outside, representing Illinois with multi-state groups like the Midwest Higher Education Compact, where he sits on the executive committee. The impact of the Senator's humble leadership, his personal credibility, and his work one-on-one with his General Assembly colleagues cannot be measured. This year, as funding for MAP grants was again under attack, several ideas were put out there as ways to fundamentally change how MAP was awarded. And despite best intentions, some of those ideas were perhaps not for the better. The Senator fought for MAP. He was the lead Senate sponsor for the Senate Joint Resolution 69, and he worked with some of higher ed's other champions, Representative Daniel Biss and Representative Bob Pritchard. And thanks to those efforts, ISAC will be convening a new task force that's starting later this month to look at ways to improve how MAP is awarded, but gives us the time to do that in a thoughtful and deliberate manner and engage stakeholders from across the higher education community. I'm told that Senator Maloney has a beautiful and patient wife, Noreen, 4 sons and 10 grandchildren, and I'm sure he's eager to spend more time with them. And their gain of his time is the state of Illinois' loss. And the world of Illinois higher education will miss the Senator's leadership and his ability to bring us all together for the good of students. And I'm honored to present this Champion Award to our friend, State Senator Ed Maloney.